Commercial insurers, also known as private insurance companies, are in the business of selling insurance for a profit. Commercial insurers offer many lines of insurance. Some sell primarily life insurance and annuities, while others sell accident and health insurance, or property and casualty insurance. An insurance company selling more than one line of insurance is known as a multi-line insurer. Commercial insurance is divided into two main groups: stock and mutual insurers. Stock companies are organized and incorporated under state laws for the purpose of making a profit for its stockholders, shareholders. Traditionally, stock insurers are called non-participating insurers because policyholders do not participate in receiving dividends or electing the board of directors, unless they are also a stockholder of the company. When declared, stock dividends are paid to stockholders. In a stock company, the directors and officers are responsible to the stockholders. Transformation of a stock insurer into a mutual insurer is termed mutualization, and the reverse is termed demutualization. Dividends from a stock insurer subject to taxation because they are considered profit. Mutual companies are owned by their policyholders. Mutual insurers are known as participating insurers because policyholders participate in receiving dividends and electing the board of directors. When declared, mutual company dividends are paid to the policyholders. Dividends from a mutual insurer are not subject to taxation because the dividends are considered to be a return of premium. The only exception is if the policy owner chooses to let the dividends sit and collect interest. In this case, only the accumulated interest would be taxable. If a company operates as both a participating and non-participating insurer, they are known as a mixed insurer. Dividends can never be guaranteed regardless of the type of company offering them. Strong assessment mutual companies are classified by the way they charge premium. 1. A pure assessment mutual company operates based on loss sharing by group members. No premium is payable in advance. Instead, each member is assessed an individual portion of losses that occur. 2. An advance premium assessment mutual charges a premium at the beginning of the policy period. If the original premiums exceed the operating expenses and losses, the surplus is returned to the policyholders as dividends. However, if total premiums are not enough to meet losses, additional assessments are levied against the members. Normally, the amount of assessment that may be levied is limited either by state law or simply as a provision in the insurer's bylaws. Fraternal benefit societies are special types of mutual companies, non-profit religious, ethnic or charitable organizations that provide insurance solely to their members. Fraternal must be formed for reasons other than obtaining insurance. An example of fraternal societies is Knights of Columbus. Risk retention groups are mutual companies formed by a group of people in the same industry or profession. Examples would be pharmacists, dentists, and engineers. One service providers offer benefits to subscribers in return for the payment of a premium. These services are packaged into various plans, and those who purchase the plans are known as subscribers. Examples of service providers are health maintenance organizations, HMO, and preferred provider organizations, PO. Reciprocal insurers are unincorporated groups of individual members that provide insurance for other members through indemnity contracts. Each member acts as both insurer and insured and are managed by attorney-in-fact. Reinsurers make arrangements with other insurance companies to transfer a portion of their risk to the reinsurer. The company transferring the risk is called the ceding company, and the company assuming the risk is the reinsurer. Captive insurer is an insurer established and owned by the parent company to insure the parent company's loss exposure. Home service insurers, also known as industrial insurance, is sold by home service or debit life insurance companies. Face amounts are small, usually $1,000 to $2,000, and premiums are paid weekly. Government insurance, federal and state government are also insurers. They provide social insurance programs to protect against universal risks by redistributing income to help people who cannot afford the cost of incurring such losses themselves. These programs have far-reaching effects and millions of people depend on them. Types of government insurance include Social Security, Old Age Survivor Disability Insurance, OASD Provide income benefits for the elderly, retirement, survivors of those who died young child of a deceased parent, and those qualifying for federal disability. Medicare health insurance to care for the elderly. Medicaid health insurance to aid the financially needy. SCLI and VGLI, Servicemen's or Veterans Group Life Insurance for active and retired members of the military. TRICARE, health insurance for members of the military and their family. Self-insurers retain risks and must have a large number of similar risks and enough capital to pay claims. However, they may save money if the loss experience is lower than the expected costs. Self-insurers are not a method of transferring risk. Rather, self-insurers establish their own self-funded plan to cover potential losses. A self-funded plan is a plan in which an employer pays insurance benefits from a fund derived from the employer's current revenues. Lloyd's of London is not an insurance company. Members of the association form syndicates to underwrite and issue insurance-like coverage. This is a group of investors who share an unusual risk. How insurance is sold. Distribution systems are the ways insurance products are marketed and sold to the public. Insurance can be purchased through licensed insurance producers, who are either agents or brokers, or through a number of other ways. Agents are either captive career agents or independent agents. Captive agents work for only one insurer. Independent agents work for themselves or for several insurers non-exclusively. Career agency system. With the career agency system, commercial insurers establish offices in certain locations. Career agents are recruited to work at these locations. A general agent hires and trains new producers and supervises a number of other producers. All producers under the career agency system are captive agents and employees of the insurer. Personal Producing General Agency System. With the Personal Producing General Agency (PGA) system, agents work for an independent agency selling policies from several insurance companies. Unlike the career agency system, agents are not employees of the insurance company. Instead, they work for the PGA. Furthermore, personal producing general agents primarily sell insurance, instead of recruiting and training new agents as in the career agency system. Independent agency system. American agency system. Independent agents represent a number of insurance companies under separate contractual agreements. They may also work for themselves or under other insurance agents. Independent insurance agents have control and ownership over their clients' accounts. This means they may place clients' business with a different insurer when policies are up for renewal. Independent insurance agents earn commissions on the sales they make and overrides on sales made by agents they manage. Managerial system. With the managerial system, branch offices are established in several locations. Instead of a general agent running the agency, a salaried branch manager is employed by the insurer. The branch manager supervises agents working out of that branch office. The insurer pays the branch manager's salary and pays him a bonus based on the amount and type of insurance sold and number of new agents hired. Mass marketing. Another way to sell insurance is through mass marketing methods. Direct selling or direct mail is a mass marketing method where agents are not used. Instead, policies are marketed and sold through television and radio advertisements, print sources found in newspapers and magazines, by mail, in vending machines, and over the Internet. Industry oversight and regulation. The insurance industry is primarily regulated on a state-by-state basis with minimal federal oversight. The primary purpose of this regulation is to promote public welfare and provide consumer protection and ensure fair trade practices, contracts and prices. Key historical events that have shaped the current regulation include: 1869 Paul v. Virginia, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that insurance transactions crossing state lines are not interstate commerce. 1905 The Armstrong Investigation Act gave the authority to the states to regulate insurance. 1944 United States Southeastern Underwriters Association ruled that insurance transactions crossing state lines are interstate commerce and are subject to federal regulation. Thus, many federal laws were conflicting with existing state laws. However, this decision did not affect the power of states to regulate insurance. 1945 The McCarran-Ferguson Act states that while the federal government has authority to regulate the insurance industry, it would not exercise its right if the insurance industry was regulated effectively and adequately on the state level. Under the McCarran-Ferguson Act, the minimum penalty of a producer who has obtained personal information about a client without having a legitimate reason to do so is a fine of $10,000. 1970 Fair Credit Reporting Act provides individuals privacy protection and fair and accurate credit reporting. Insurance companies are required to notify applicants if a credit check will be made on them. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, The maximum penalty of a producer who has obtained consumer information reports under false pretenses is a fine of $5,000. 1999 Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, Financial Services Modernization Act. This law repealed the Glass-Steagall Act. This allows banks, retail brokerages and insurance companies to enter each other's line of business. 2001 USA Patriot Act, uniting and strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism act, as it relates to the insurance industry, is designed to detect and deter terrorists and their funding by imposing anti-money laundering requirements on brokerage firms and financial institutions. 2003 National Do Not Call Registry, insurance calls are not exempt from the No Not Call Registry. 2010 Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, PACA, often shortened to the Affordable Care Act, ACA, represents one of the most significant regulatory overhauls and expansions of coverage in U.S. history. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners (NAIC) is an organization composed of insurance commissioners from all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the 4 U.S. territories. They are responsible for recommending appropriate laws and regulations. They are responsible for the creation of the Advertising Code and the Unfair Trade Practices Act, and the Medicare Supplement Insurance Minimum Standards Model Act. The NAIC has 4 broad objectives. 1. To encourage uniformity in state insurance laws and regulations. 2. To assist in the administration of those laws and regulations by promoting efficiency. 3. To protect the interest of policy owners and consumers. 4. To preserve state regulation of the Insurance Business Advertising Code. The code specifies certain words and phrases that are considered misleading and are not to be used in advertising of any kind. Unfair Trade Practices Act gives Chief Financial Officer the power to investigate insurance companies and producers to impose penalties. In addition to that, the Act gives officers the authority to seek a court injunction to restrain insurers from using any methods believed to be unfair. NIFA, National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, and NAHU, National Association of Health Underwriters. Members of these organizations are life and health agents dedicated to supporting the industry and advancing the quality of service provided by insurance professionals. These organizations created a code of ethics detailing the expectations of agents and their duties toward clients. To sell insurance, each state requires high level of professionalism and ethics. Some of these standards and ethics are: selling to needs. Agents must first determine the consumer's needs, then determine which policy fits their needs best. Suitability of recommended products. An ethical agent must be able to assess the correlation between a recommended product and the consumer's needs. 4. Full and accurate disclosure. An ethical agent must inform consumers of the benefits and limitations of recommended products. Recommendations must be accurate, complete and clear. Documentation. An ethical agent must document each client's meeting and transaction. Client services. An ethical agent must know that a sale does not mark the end of the relationship, but rather the beginning of the relationship. Therefore, routine follow-up calls are recommended. Buyer's guide. Each state requires agents to deliver a buyer's guide to consumers that explain various types of life insurance products and other information on the recommended policy, such as premiums, dividends, and benefit amounts. Policy summary. Help consumers evaluate the suitability of the recommended product. Reserves are the accounting measurement of an insurer's future obligations to its policyholders. They are classified as liabilities on the insurance company's accounting statements, since they must be settled at a future date. Reserves are set aside by an insurance company and designated for the payment of future claims. Liquidity. An insurer's ability to make unpredictable payouts to policy owners. Guarantee associations are established by all states to support insurers and protect consumers in case an insurer becomes insolvent. State life and health guarantee associations provide a safety net for all member life, health and annuities insurers in a particular state. Guarantee associations protect insureds in the event of insurer insolvency or inability to pay claims up to a certain limit. Independent rating services are credit rating agencies that rate or grade the financial strength and stability of insurers based on claims, reserves, and company profits. The nationally recognized statistical rating organizations that rate insurers are AM Best, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch Ratings. Each rating service has its own rating system, but most use an A to F letter grading scheme. 5. Nature of insurance. A hazard, a condition or situation that creates or increases a chance of loss. For example, icy roads, driving while hazards, perils, and risk. Intoxicated, improperly stored toxic waste. Types of hazards include physical poor health, overweight, blind, moral dishonesty, drugs, alcohol abuse, morale, careless attitude, reckless driving, jumping off a cliff, stealing, racing motorcycles, carefree, careless lifestyle. This attitude causes an indifference to loss. Loss is the unintentional decrease in the value of an asset due to a peril. Peril, an immediate, specific event which causes loss, such as an earthquake or tornado. Perils can also be referred to as the accident itself. Risk, the potential for loss. Speculative risk is a risk that presents both the chance for loss or gain. Gambling is an example. Speculative risks are not insurable. Pure risk is the only insurable risk and present the potential for loss only, such as injury, illness, and death. Elements of insurable risk. Loss must be due to chance, causeless, outside the insured's control. Loss must be definite in measurable time, place, amount, and when payable. Loss must be predictable, statistically able to estimate the average frequency and severity. Loss cannot be catastrophic, must be reasonable. $1 trillion policy is not reasonable. Loss exposure to be insured must be large, ideally common enough that the insurer can pool many homogeneous, or similar, exposure units. Law of large numbers. Loss must be randomly selected, fair proportion of good and poor risks. Adverse selection. Law of large numbers. The larger the amount of exposures that are combined into a group, the more certainty there is to the amount of loss incurred in any given period. The law of large numbers allows prediction of individual and group losses based on past experience. An increased degree of accuracy in predicting losses in large groups. Homogeneous exposure units are similar objects of insurance that are exposed to the same group of perils. For example, insuring a large number of homes in the same geographical area against hail damage. Adverse selection. Insurers must minimize adverse selection, which is defined as the tendency for poorer than average risks to seek out insurance. For example, a person who takes 12 prescriptions is a poor risk. If an insurer cannot compensate poor risks with better than average risks, then its loss experience will increase and its ability to pay claims may be compromised. Risk management is the process of analyzing exposures that create risk and designing programs to handle them. 6. Treatment of risk. How people deal with risk. Avoidance. Avoid the risk altogether. For example, you can avoid the risk of getting injured in a car accident by never leaving the house. Reduction. Take precautions. Minimizing severity of a potential loss. For example, you can reduce the risk of getting injured in a car accident by taking public transportation. Retention. Self-insure. Accepting a risk and confronting it if it occurs. For example, you would retain the risk of getting injured in a car accident by driving without insurance. Transfer. Transference. Make someone else responsible for a loss. For example, buying auto insurance transfers the cost associated with a car accident from the driver to the insurance company. Buying insurance is the best way to transfer risk. Risk pooling. Loss sharing. When a large group of people spread a risk for a small certain cost, it transfers risk from an individual to a group. An example of risk sharing would be doctors pooling their money to cover malpractice exposures. Reinsurance. Insurers deal with catastrophic loss through reinsurance, which is defined as a contractual arrangement that transfers exposure from one insurer to another insurer. Principle of indemnity involves making an insured whole by restoring them to the same condition as before a loss. Economic basis of insurance. Human life value approach, a method of determining the financial value of a person's life based on computing the current value of a person's future earnings for a certain period of time. For example, if the main income earner of the family makes $50,000 a year and the family would like to make sure they are protected for 10 years in the event something happens to the main income earner, $50,000 current income x 10 years protection equals $500,000 insurance policy. Needs-based value approach, a method of determining a person's financial value based on the amount of money needed for current and future expenses. These expenses include final expenses, spouse's income, mortgage, college education, retirement, charity donations, etc. For example, a family would like to ensure they can take care of 5 years of annual expenses if something were to happen to the main income earner, and they have an average of $60,000 worth of expenses per year. $60,000 expenses x 5 years protection equals $300,000 insurance policy. 7 legal concepts of the insurance contract. Insurance policies are legal contracts where a promise of benefits is exchanged for valuable consideration, premiums. Contracts of insurance are binding and enforceable. All parties are subject to specific legal requirements. Life insurance. The insurance company agrees to pay a predetermined amount, the face amount or benefit, in exchange for the insured's consideration, premium. Health insurance. The insurance company agrees to pay a percentage of the insured's medical bills or benefit in exchange for consideration, premiums. Elements of the contract. 4 elements must be present in every contract to be valid and legally enforceable. These elements include: 1. Consideration. Consideration is something of value that each interested party gives to each other. The insured provides consideration with payment of premium. The insurer provides consideration by promising to pay the insurance benefit. The applicant says, "Please consider me for insurance. Here's my initial premium, my completed application, as well as how much and how often I agree to pay." 2. Legal purpose. An insurance contract must be legal and not in opposition of public policy. If an insurance contract has insurable interest and the insured has provided written consent, it has legal purpose. Without legal effect, the contract would be null and void. Said differently, the contract cannot be for an illegal purpose. 3. Offer and acceptance. An offer is made when the applicant submits an application and initial premium for insurance to the insurance company. The offer is accepted by the insurer after it has been approved by the insurance company's underwriter and a policy is issued. If no money is given, the applicant is making an invitation. On the other hand, if an offer is answered by a counteroffer, the first offer is void. 4. Competent parties. All parties must be of legal competence, meaning they must be of legal age, mentally capable of understanding the terms, and not influenced by drugs or alcohol. Special features of insurance contracts. Contract of adhesion. Because an insurance contract has been prepared by an insurance company with no negotiation, it is considered a contract of adhesion. In a contract of adhesion there is only one author, the insurance company. Insurance carriers are also responsible for assembling the policy forms for insureds. If there is an ambiguity in the contract, the courts always favor the insured over the insurer. Under a contract of adhesion, the terms must be accepted or rejected in full. The customer must adhere to the insurer's contract without any input of their own. Aleatory contract. Insurance contracts are aleatory, which means there is an unequal exchange. The premiums paid by the applicant is small in relation to the amount that will be paid by the insurance company in the event of a loss. For example, Tori paid 1 month's premium of $50. When she died 1 month later, her beneficiary received the whole $50,000 face value of Tori's policy. Consideration may be unequal. The outcome depends on chance or uncertain event. A legal bet is considered an aleatory contract. A unilateral contract, one-sided agreement, where only the insurer is legally bound. In an insurance contract, only the insurance company is legally bound to do anything, pay claims. Uni equals one lateral equals side, one side the insurance company is legally bound. The insured does not make a promise to pay premiums, however, if premiums are not paid the insurer has the right to cancel the contract. Personal contract. Most insurance contracts are personal contracts between the insurance company and the insured individual, and are not transferable to another person without the insurer's consent. Life insurance is an exception to this standard as the owner of the policy has no bearing on the insurer's assumed risk. Therefore, people who own life insurance are called policy owners rather than policyholders and may transfer or assign ownership by notifying the company. Conditional contract. Insurance contracts are conditional because certain conditions must be met by all parties in the contract. Hence, benefits depend on the occurrence of an event covered by contract. This is needed when a loss occurs for the contract to be legally enforceable. Valued versus indemnity. Life insurance contracts are valued contracts, which means it will pay a stated amount. Health insurance contracts are indemnity contracts and will only reimburse the actual cost of the loss, pay medical bills, etc. The principle of indemnity is to restore the insured to the same financial condition as that which existed prior to the loss. You cannot profit from an indemnity contract. Utmost good faith implies that there will be no attempt by either party to misrepresent, conceal or commit fraud as it pertains to insurance policies. Insurance applicants are required to make full, fair, and honest disclosure of the risk to the agent and insurer. Agents and insurers are required to accurately explain the policy's features, benefits, advantages, and possible disadvantages to an applicant. Warranties, statements made by the applicant guaranteed to be true, name, DOB, becomes part of the contract and if found to be untrue, can be ground for revoking the contract. Representations, statements made by the applicant believed to be true, height, weight, are not part of the contract and need to be true only to the extent that they are material and related to the risk. Concealment, withholding of information or facts by the applicant, smoker, diabetes. Insurable interest, requires that an individual have a valid concern for the continuation of the life or well-being of the person insured. Without insurable interest, an insurance contract is not legally enforceable and would be considered a wagering contract. Insurable interest only needs to exist at the time of the application, the inception of the contract. For example, spouses would typically have insurable interest on each other's life. Childhood friends typically would not have insurable interest on each other's life. An employer may have insurable interest on a key employee's life. Reasonable expectations, a concept which states that the insured is entitled to coverage under a policy that a sensible and prudent person would expect it to provide, reinforces the rule that ambiguities in insurance contracts should be interpreted in favor of the policyholder. Stranger-originated life insurance. In stranger-originated life insurance, or STOLI, a consumer purchases a life insurance policy with the agreement that a third-party agent, broker, or investor will purchase the consumer's policy and receive the proceeds as a profit upon the consumer's death. This differs from a standard insurance policy because the third-party owner will be the one benefiting from the death of the insured. STOLI policies are typically illegal as they violate insurable interest requirements. 9. Agent authority, a relationship in which one person is authorized to represent and act for another person or company, is established through the law of agency. In applying the law of agency, the insurance company, insurer, is the principal. An agent or producer will always be deemed to represent the insurance company and not the applicant. Regarding the insurance contract, any knowledge of the agent is considered to be the knowledge of the insurance company, insurer. If the agent is working within the conditions of his or her contract, the insurance company is fully responsible. Authorized agent, a person who acts for another person or entity and has the power to bind the principal to contracts. Agents are granted authority by the insurer through the agency contract to transact insurance or adjust claims on their behalf. Some common tasks agents are authorized to perform include solicit applications, collect premiums, render services to prospects, and describes the company's insurance policies. Types of agent authority. Express. Express authority is the explicit authority granted to the agent by the insurer as written in the agency contract. For example, solicit applications and collect premiums. Implied. The unwritten authority of a producer to perform incidental acts necessary to fulfill the purpose of the agency agreement, otherwise unwritten in the contract. For example, since you are authorized to solicit applications and collect premiums, it is implied that you are authorized to set appointments. Apparent. Apparent authority deals with the relationship between the insurer, the agent, and the customer. It is the appearance of authority based on the agent-insurer relationship. Apparent authority is a situation in which the insurer gives the customer reasonable belief that an agent has the power and authority to bind the principal. For example, since you have all of the insurance application forms and business cards, it is apparent to the customer that you are able to help them apply for insurance. Other legal concepts. Fiduciary responsibility. Because the agent handles money of the insured and insurer, he/she has a fiduciary responsibility. A fiduciary is someone in a position of trust and confidence. With insurance, for example, it is illegal for agents to mix premiums collected from applicants with their own personal funds. This is called commingling. Fraud. Fraud is an intentional misrepresentation or concealment of material fact made by one party in order to cheat another party out of something that has economic value. An insurer may void an insurance policy if a misrepresentation on the application is proven to be material. Waiver. Waiver is the voluntarily giving up of a known right. For example, if an insurer chose to approve an application and issue a policy without requesting a medical exam, they cannot later request a medical exam for that policy in the future. Estoppel, the legal process of preventing one party from reclaiming a right that was waived. Parole evidence rule, rule that prevents parties in a contract from changing the meaning of a written contract by introducing oral or written evidence made prior to the formation of the contract, but are not part of the contract. Subrogation is the right for an insurer to pursue a third party that caused an insurance loss to the insured. This is done as a means of recovering the amount of the claim paid to the insured for the loss. For example, if an insured driver's car is totaled through the fault of another driver, the insurance carrier will reimburse the covered driver as described in the policy and take legal action against the driver at fault in an attempt to recuperate the cost of that claim. Void and voidable contracts. A void contract is an agreement that does not have legal effect, and therefore is not a contract. Void contracts are not enforceable by either party. Unlike a void contract, a voidable contract is a valid, binding contract which can be voided at the request of a party with the right to reject. Cancellation, the voluntary act of terminating an insurance contract. Endorsement, a written form attached to an insurance policy that alters the policy's coverage, terms, or conditions. Brokers, a broker or independent agent may represent a number of insurance companies under separate contractual agreements. Professional liability insurance, errors and omissions, a professional liability for which producers can be sued for mistakes of putting a policy into effect. Under the insurance, the insurer agrees to pay sums that the agent legally is obligated to pay for injuries resulting from professional services that he rendered or failed to render. 11. Health and accident insurance. Health insurance refers to the broad field of insurance plans that provide protection against the financial consequences of illness, accidents, injury, and disability. The two perils that are covered in health insurance are accident and sickness. Distinct categories of health coverage include: 1. Medical expense insurance provides financial protection against the cost of medical care by reimbursing the insured, fully or in part, for these costs, called reimbursement plans. Examples of medical expense insurance are Medicare supplement insurance and long-term care insurance. 2. Disability income insurance provides a replacement income when wages are lost due to a disability. 3. Accidental death and dismemberment insurance (ADD) provides the insured with a lump sum benefit amount in the event of accidental death or dismemberment under accidental circumstances. 4. Interim coverage, short-term policies that can be purchased on an interim basis when in between jobs or waiting for a new policy to start. Health insurance policies are paid for on a year-to-year basis and are subject to periodic increases in premium. Health insurance premium is calculated based on interest, expense, types of benefits, and morbidity, or the expected incidence of sickness or disability within a given age group during a given period of time. Health insurance benefits are not fixed, rather they depend on the amount of loss. Subrogation, the right for an insurer to pursue a third party that caused an insurance loss to the insured. This is done as a means of recovering the amount of the claim paid by the insurance carrier to the insured for the loss. For example, the right of an insurance company to sue the at-fault driver of an accident to recuperate the loss suffered from paying related medical bills. Business needs for health insurance. Business uses of health insurance can be broadly divided into two categories. 1. Business continuation plans to continue the operation of a business in the event of a disabling sickness or injury to a business owner or key employee. 2. Employee benefit plans to help an employee in the event of a disabling sickness or injury. Business continuation plans. Business overhead expense insurance is sold on an individual basis to professionals in private practice, self-employed business owners, partners, and occasionally closed corporations. Business overhead expense insurance is designed to reimburse a business for overhead expenses in the event a business owner becomes disabled. Designed to help the day-to-day operation of business to continue during the period of disability. Overhead expenses include such things as rent or mortgage payments, utilities, telephones, Uses of health insurance, leased equipment, employees' salaries, etc. 12. Does not include any compensation for the disabled owner. The premium for business overhead insurance is a tax-deductible business expense. The benefits when paid are treated as taxable income. For example, an attorney may take out a business overhead expense policy to cover the expense of keeping his practice open if we were in an accident and couldn't work for 3 months. However, this would not provide him any income. Disability buy-sell plan, also known as disability buyout. A business disability buy-sell policy is designed to assist in the sale of a business in the event of the disability of a business owner. The plan sets forth the terms for selling and buying a partner's or stock owner's share of a business in the event she becomes disabled and is no longer able to participate in the business. It is a legal, binding arrangement funded with a disability income policy. Unlike typical disability income insurance plans that pay benefits in the form of periodic payments, the buyout plan usually contains a provision allowing for a lump sum payment of the benefit. Benefits are received tax-free because the premiums paid are not tax-deductible. Characterized by lengthy elimination periods, often as long as 2 years. For example, three partners of a law firm may take out a disability buy-sell plan on each other with an agreement. If one becomes disabled, they will sell the business to the other 2 partners who will use the proceeds from the policy to purchase the business. Key person disability insurance. This type of coverage pays a monthly benefit a business to cover expenses for additional help or outside services when an essential person is disabled. The key person's economic value to the business is determined in terms of the potential loss of business income that could occur, as well as the expense of hiring and training a replacement for the key person. The business's owner and premium payer of the policy. Benefits are received by the business tax-free because the premium paid is not tax-deductible. These policies are typically reserved for hard-to-replace employees like executives or key sales members and would not be used on lower-level employees like secretaries or assistants. Employee benefit plans. While the term employee benefit plan can encompass a wide variety of benefit offerings, life insurance, pension or profit-sharing plans, vacation pay, deferred compensation arrangements, funeral leave, sick time, it is rare when it does not include some kind of provision for health insurance or health benefits. By providing its employees with a plan for health insurance, an employer derives many benefits. The plan contributes to employee morale and productivity. The plan enables the employer to provide a needed benefit that employees would otherwise have to pay for with personal after-tax dollars. This helps hold down demands for wage increases. The plan places the employer in a competitive position for hiring and retaining employees. The employer can obtain a tax deduction for the cost of contributing to the plan. The plan enhances the employer's image in both public and employee relations. 13. Nature of group health insurance. The contract for a group health insurance policy is between the insurance company and the group, usually employer. Health insurance is provided through group master contracts. In this case, the employer or the association is the policy owner and is responsible for premium payments. The employer may pay the entire premium or require some contribution from each member to cover the insurance cost. A master policy is issued to the employer. Insureds, employees or group members receive certificates of insurance and an outline that describes their benefits. The benefits provided under a group health plan are more extensive than those provided under an individual health plan. Group health plans typically have higher benefit maximums and lower deductibles. Benefits provided to individual insureds are predetermined by the employer in conjunction with the insurer's benefit schedules and coverage limits. For example, group disability benefits can be tied to a position or earnings schedule. Probationary period, the period of time during which a new employee is ineligible for group health insurance coverage. Think the probation period when you start a new job. Enrollment period, the limited period of time during which all members may sign up for a group plan. To qualify for group health coverage, the group must be a natural group, formed for some reason other than to obtain insurance. For example, employers, public school students, labor unions, trade associations, creditor-debtor groups, multiple employer trusts, lodges, etc. State laws specify the minimum number of persons to be covered under a group policy. Like group life, group health plans commonly impose a set of eligibility requirements that must be met before an individual member is eligible to participate in the group plan. Coordination of benefits. Purpose of the Coordination of Benefits (COB) provision, found only in group health plans, is to avoid duplication of benefit payments and overinsurance when an individual is covered under more than one group health plan. The provision limits the total amount of claims paid from all insurers covering the patient to no more than the total allowable medical expenses. The COB provision establishes which plan is the primary carrier, provider, or the plan that is responsible for providing the full benefit amounts as it specifies. Once the primary plan has paid its full promised benefit, the insured may submit the claim to the secondary carrier, provider, for any additional benefits payable. In no case will the total amount the insured receives exceed the costs incurred, or the total maximum benefits available under all plans are more appropriate for married couples when each is covered by an employer group plan. Coordinating benefits are needed for workers with Medicare. Overutilization of a plan occurs when health benefits are too high. Funding of group insurance. Group coverage plans have a significantly less out-of-pocket costs. The cost of insuring an individual under a group health plan is less than the cost of insurance under an individual plan, mostly because administrative and selling expenses involved with group plans are far less. Factors that help determine group health insurance premiums are the size of the group, the claims experience with previous insurers, and the ages of group members. 14. Contributory versus non-contributory. If the employer pays the entire premium, the plan is non-contributory. The employee does not contribute in paying the bill. Most non-contributory group health plans require 100% participation by eligible members, whereas contributory group health plans often require participation by 75% of eligible members. The reason for these minimum participation requirements is to protect the insurer against adverse selection and to keep administrative expenses in line with coverage units. If the employees share a portion of the premium, it is contributory. The employee does contribute in paying the bill. Other group funding options include shared funding arrangement. This allows the employer to self-fund healthcare expenses up to a certain limit. Minimum premium arrangement allows the employer to self-insure the normal and expected claims up to a given amount, and the insurer funds only the excess amounts. Retrospective premium arrangement. The insurer agrees to collect a provisional premium but may collect additional premium or make refund at the end of the year based on the actual incurred losses. Self-funding arrangement. Large employers may elect to fully self-fund, or may self-fund a plan, but contract for administrative services only. Underwriting group insurance. The insurer evaluates the group as a whole rather than individuals within the group. The underwriter's objective is to reduce the risk of adverse selection. In order to achieve this, the underwriter reviews a number of factors to determine whether or not the group should be accepted. Rarely is an entire group rejected on the basis of one bad risk, unless the group is very small. Based on the group's risk profile, the group is either accepted or rejected. In spite of the many differences between types of groups, there are certain general groups of underwriting considerations. General groups of underwriting considerations are applicable to all or most types of groups, such as reason for the group's existence. Purchasing group insurance must be incidental to the group's formation, not the reason for it. Stability of the group. Underwriters want to see a group of stable workers without an excessive amount of turnover. Persistency of the group. Groups that change insurers every year do not represent a good risk. Method of determining benefits. It must be by a schedule or method that prevents individual selection of benefits. How eligibility is determined. Insurers want to see a sickness-related probationary period, for example, to reduce adverse selection. Source of premium payments, whether contributory or non-contributory. Non-contributory plans are preferred because they usually require 100% participation, which helps spread the risk and reduces adverse selection. Prior claims experience of the group. Size and composition of the group. Industry or business with which the group is associated. Hazardous industries are typified by higher than standard mortality and morbidity rates. 15. Pre-existing conditions, conversion and HIPAA requirements. Beginning July 1, 1997, HIPAA limited the ability of employer-sponsored groups and insurers to exclude individuals on the basis of pre-existing medical conditions. The exclusion for pre-existing conditions is now limited to conditions for which medical advice or treatment was recommended or received within the 6-month period ending on the enrollment date, and the exclusion can extend for no more than 12 months. When determining whether pre-existing conditions apply, New employees enrolling in a new group health plan cannot have a gap of more than 63 days without health insurance for pre-existing conditions, though creditable coverage is prior group health insurance that reduces the maximum pre-existing condition exclusion period that a new group health plan can apply to that individual. HIPAA provides the ability to transfer and continue health insurance coverage for millions of American workers and their families when they change or lose their jobs. OHIPAA portability rules allow individuals who change from one group medical plan to another to reduce or eliminate any pre-existing conditions excluded under the new plan. Under HIPAA, when an insured individual leaves an employer and immediately begins working for a new company that offers group health insurance, the individual is eligible for coverage upon hire. The conversion privilege allows an insured to convert their group certificate to an individual medical expense policy with the same insurer, if and when they leave their employment, or the group plan is being eliminated. The conversion privilege is available to terminated employees. Termination of employment includes an employee who is laid off or who leaves a job voluntarily, but not those who are fired for cause. Insurers are permitted to evaluate the individual and charge the appropriate premium, be it a standard rate or substandard rate. An individual cannot be denied coverage even if he/she has become uninsurable. The conversion must be exercised within a given period of time, usually 30 or 31 days, depending on the state. The employee must make application for a converted policy within this time frame. Excess benefits. A converted group health plan may not include benefits in excess to those benefits offered under the converted health plan. Other coverages. The insurer may refuse to renew a converted policy due benefits resulting in overinsurance, fraud, or material misrepresentation. The insured is covered under Medicare. The HIPAA privacy rule provides federal protection for an individual's health information and gives patients an array of rights with respect to that individually identifiable health information. OHIPAA considers a person's health claim information as individually identifiable health. 16. Information. OHIPAA imposes requirements on healthcare providers with respect to disclosure of protected health information. Notice of information practices must be given to a policyholder at least every 3 years. The HIPAA security rule provides technical safeguards to assure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of electronic protected health information. HIPAA rules apply to most group health plans like HMOs, POs, and major medical plans. It excludes coverage such as workers' compensation and disability income plans. OHIPAA requires employers with 20 or more employees to allow former employees to continue benefits under the employer's group health insurance. OHIPAA states that a group health policy renewal can be denied when participation or contribution rules have been violated. OHIPAA provides that 10% excess tax for early withdrawal from a RAS will not apply to the extent a withdrawal is used for medical expenses that exceed 7.5% of the individual's adjusted gross income.